Hi guys, welcome back to Nyx Reads. Thank you so much for watching. I brought my bangs back, which means that I'm back to looking exactly like in my thumbnail. January has come and gone. I hope you had a fantastic reading month. During this month, I finalized my reading goals for 2024. I wanted to give myself a bit of time to think about them and see what's going to be achievable for me, and I changed quite a few, so I finally settled on a list and I'm ready to share it with you. Dare I say that these should technically be all achievable. A few of these are also kind of like soft goals. They have an open end, they're not an exact number. It's more important to me that I start a few projects rather than read a certain amount of books for one goal. So let's dive right in, and don't forget to let me know if you have some goals in common so we can cheer each other on throughout the year. My first goal is to read 70 books this year. I read 82 books last year, and I don't know if I can achieve the exact same number or higher again because I made advancements at work, which is great, I'm proud of that. But I don't know if it means that I'll have as much free time as I had before. Also, I want to get back to working out regularly again. That's a whole different kind of goal. As for my language goals, I want to read in 4 different languages this year. I want to read 10 books in German, 1 book in French, 1 book in Tagalog, and the rest can be in English. I think I read 9 books in German last year, which means that I'm already pretty close to the number 10. And I didn't necessarily want to increase it by a lot because, as I said, I want these goals to be achievable. I don't want them to be far, far away and hard to achieve to really challenge myself. That's not the goal here. As for author heritage goals, I want to read 3 books from Filipino authors. And this can just mean that I finally read the books that I bought in the Philippines when I was there last year. Those are books that I already own, but I just haven't gotten to them yet. And this actually ties me into my next goal. And this is, I would say, my most important goal, the overarching goal, the goal that I'm going to try to combine with as many reading challenges as possible. That is to read 40 books from my own shelves this year. As of right now, I have 77 physical books that I own that are still unread. And this is not to say that I'm not going to buy any books this year. Of course I am. You can expect some nice juicy hauls on this channel. But I just want to make sure that I keep up the rotation. So 40 books need to be from my own bookshelf. In my 2023 stats, I was shocked to realize how many books that I read that were part of a series. And sometimes it was the first book that I picked up, sometimes I continued in a series, and it made me realize there's still so many series that I started at some point, but just I've never gotten around to either finish them or even get to the second book. So one of my goals is to continue 3 book series that I started, and then I have to decide if I want to keep going or just give up on that series and move on to something that has my interest. Next, I have a very important project that I haven't really named yet, and I don't have any specifics. You'll see why, but I want to make an effort to read from every continent, from countries that I've never read from before. This is to diversify my reading, the authors that I choose from, the topics that I read from, and this is for both fiction and nonfiction. This is largely inspired by Audrey Approve's Read Around the World project. I'm going to link her channel in the description down below. She's such a fantastic resource for all of your nonfiction reads. She actually also reads fiction, but when it comes to nonfiction, she has the best reviews up and gives such a variety of authors and topics. Audrey does it more methodically. She goes by the alphabet, so letter by letter. I think I'm gonna leave it a bit more broad. So my goal tentatively would be every year that I will read from each continent from a different country, ideally 1 fiction and 1 nonfiction book. But again, this is more of a soft goal because I intend this to be a years-long project, and Audrey kindly shared a big resource with me with a lot of bookish suggestions, so I'm definitely going to use that as well. One of the reasons I'm keeping it vague, at least for this year, is because, as I mentioned, my overarching goal is to read from my own bookshelves. I realized that I already own quite a few books that would fit the criteria for this project. I should have mentioned in the beginning what the criteria are. So technically I only have 2 so far, and that is that the book has to be written and published in the local language of the country, or one of the local languages in the country, and the main or first publisher should also be in that country. For example, I own the book My Brilliant Friend from Elena Ferrante. It's somewhere here, I don't know where it is. So this book was originally published in Italy in Italian. So this makes it a contender for Europe and Italy. Next up, I want to continue my quest for great fantasy series. So I want to start 2 new fantasy series this year. I know I just said that I also need to continue with the series that I started, but that's fine. I want to keep reading more fantasy. Next, I have these 3 authors that I've given 4 or 5 stars to before, and I've never picked up another new series or new book by them. And this year I want to. So I want to read another book by Ruth Ware, Neil Schusterman, and Sylvia Moreno Garcia. Oh, actually there's a 4th, Otessa Moshfegh. I had a similar goal to this in my 2023 list, but I wasn't specific enough. This time I really wrote down my 4 authors that I definitely want to pick up again, and I'm happy to say that I already started on this goal. Then I want to reread 2 books that I've previously read before. I'm always focused on obviously finding new books and crossing stuff off from my TBR, but there are some books that I just think to myself, I need to give them another try, or they were so good, I want to reread them again and see what more I can get out from them. Next, I have another project, a broader project that I want to start without a definitive end or goal of how many books to read. That is to create an Agatha Christie tracking sheet, because ultimately my goal would be to read all of Agatha Christie's books because I'm a big fan. She's an author I discovered for myself, I think 2 or 3 years ago. She's now one of my favorites. One day I want to have read all of her books, and I want to be able to compare all of them and rank them. Now, whenever I read a Christie book, I want to have certain criteria where I give, I don't know, maybe like a 0 to 5 points for, so that it helps me to determine which books I like more than others, because she has obviously a very, very large selection of books that she's written. I'm not pressuring myself to read a certain amount of books this year. I just want to make sure that I start putting some kind of file together. Then I have 2 last goals that are more related to this channel. First of all, I want to upload at least 2 reading vlogs this year, because I did it in 2022 more so. In 2023, I think I only uploaded 1, but they're kind of fun to edit and to film. So I want to get back into that, and even if it's just like a cozy reading vlog. If you want, you can let me know if this is something you like to watch. I'm also still trying to figure out if, let's say I do a reading vlog, how much do I show of what do I do in my spare time, or just me talking about a book, because I'm personally quite nosy, so I love it when the booktubers that I watch show what they're also doing, what they're eating, what they're up to on the weekend. So let me know if that interests you, or if you just want to see me talking about books. And finally, I have a last minute addition. There's 2 travel vlogs where I filmed for, but I never edited or uploaded the videos, and I have the footage sitting around on a memory card, and I think it would be a shame to just forget about it. So I still need to upload or edit my 2022 Italy footage. And the same thing goes for a short weekend trip I did to Dublin with my sister and my friend. We had such a lovely time, but I've just never gotten around to it. And I do want to say that it's mostly my old computer's fault, because I never had enough storage on there, but I can just now use my boyfriend. So I don't really have an excuse anymore. I don't know if travel vlogs interest you at all, but again, it's also just kind of a time capsule for myself and my friends and family. So those are all my goals. I'm realizing that it does sound like a lot of them, but keep in mind that I'm gonna try to combine them as much as possible, because there's only so many books you can read in a year. If you want to let me know that you're still watching, why don't you leave me a yarn emoji? I didn't hold up any books in this video, so this was next to me. A yarn emoji it is. Don't forget to let me know what your most important reading goal is for you this year. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you love watching bookish content, and give this video a thumbs up if you like setting up rules. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye.